lesson. It's going to be really boring, tiresome, tedious, and monotonous. The whole lesson. A very, very boring lesson. But hopefully not that boring. We are going to look at the language of boredom, being bored, and what bores you. All of that. It's going to be fun and exciting. Let's kick off with this, shall we? Hello there, nice to see you and welcome to today's class. It's Thursday, the 18th of something, 18th of March, right? I hope if you celebrated Paddy's Day yesterday, 17th of March was St. Patrick's Day. I hope you had a good time and that you're not too tired or hungover today. Right, welcome all of you. Today's lesson is all about being bored. We're going to be looking at lots of exciting stuff. Let me show you what we're going to be doing today, right? We're going to be looking at the topic of boredom, a bit like this young gentleman over here. We'll be having a look at the vocabulary, how we talk about being bored, right? We'll be looking at what bores you, right? It's an interesting word, right? Bore. What bores you? We'll be finding out today. We will be having a look at the lockdown boredom. I think the lockdown brought a lot of opportunities, but a lot of boredom for people. So we're going to talk a little bit about lockdown boredom. We'll have having a look at idioms to talk about this topic. And of course, as always, we'll be doing one or two sample answers. And then we'll finish up with a little review about all of that. Great. Sounds lovely. Let's get all that back. So we're going to begin at boredom, but first, a few hellos. Su Tao, hello. Call me Bella. Hi, Bella. Yasmin says, no, it's impossible. What, the boring class, right? Hello, Emma and Samin, Glenda. Glenda from Japan. Nice to see you here, Glenda. Sia, hi. Who else is here? Rita from Qatar. Lovely to see you, Rita. And who else? Somebody else? Kanata, also from Japan. Two from Japan. And Delorum, hello. Lu Dong, hi Lu. Nice to see you. And Savita, hello. Lots of people here. Good to see you all here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate it. Great. Now, as we begin, I got a little note here. Look, note here. It says, say hello to Jose Ramon. This is a note from my wife, right? And Jose Ramon, hola, buenos días. Si estás viendo, un saludo. Jose Ramon is my wife's driving teacher, and she's just started classes. She can drive, but she hasn't driven in Spain. So she's started to do some kind of refresher classes. And Jose Ramon is taking care of her. So a big shout out, Jose Ramon. Thank you so much. Please do look after her, right? I couldn't possibly teach my wife to drive. I think you need a certain ability to do that. So I've put her in the hands of Jose Ramon. Great. Another, just a quick shout out. I get quite a few emails from people. And I just wanted to say a shout out to Akhtar Hussain, who's actually over in England, and we were in contact about a year ago. And now, this is what he said. He wrote me a very nice email. He said, hi, Keith. I felt I am on top of the world. So glad to meet you at the similar time last year. It's the best year to look after myself and my self-improvement. I learned so many things from your YouTube video and the Band 7 Plus course. You inspired and encouraged me, and my lifestyle completely changed. Nowadays, I can speak without thinking about vocabulary or phrases. It's everything in my head, no more hesitated talk. You told me practice makes perfect, and I just listened to you. Oh, Wish you a healthy, wealthy, happy life. Bless you, my friend. Actor, thank you very much. That was beautiful. Very, very nice. And that makes me very happy to see the change in people, the change in attitude, as well as lifestyle or ability or confidence is great. So really, really pleased to see that. You know, there's been a few messages on the Facebook group. A lot of people getting successful scores, 7.5, which is fantastic. There are now and again one or two people who say, you know, I got a 6 again, not very happy, disappointed, and it's a failure. Now, I don't think it's a failure, right? If you don't get your score in the test, it's not failing. It's not a failure, right? For me, it's just a step. It's the next step towards your goal. Some steps go up, some steps go down. But the important thing is you're going towards your goal. You're on the journey. You're still moving there. And it's that journey that is so important. So please don't lose hope. Don't worry. Don't get too sad. I mean, feel sad for a day, but then move on, right? Keep going. Keep practicing. Because all of us here are turning up day after day. And it's that long-term practice and dedication that is going to get you to where you want to go. So to all of you, congratulations. Nobody's failing. Everybody's moving in the right direction. Great. So, good. Let me just check in, see how you're all doing. Binayak Academy. Hello. Nice to see you. Naomi from Indonesia. Hello. Naomi, that's my daughter's name. Nice to see you. Jassy, hello, sir. First time attending. Great. Thrilled to bits. Mohinur, nice to see you. Great. Viraj says, sir, where are you from? Well, it's interesting because I said Spain, right? But of course, I'm from England. I'm from Manchester in England. People from Manchester we call Mancunians, right? So I'm a Mancunian. But in my 20s, I left England to live abroad, and now I live in Spain, which is quite nice, yes. Fatima, first time in the class as well, welcome. And Lou from Uzbekistan. I get a lot of people from Uzbekistan emailing me, which is really nice. Keep it coming, guys. Please do. Right. Maiden from Turkey, all over the world. Listen, let's move in. Let's kick off, right? We're going to talk about boredom today. I've got to try and stop laughing because boredom is a really serious subject, right? Look at like this guy here. Boredom. We're going to kick off, right? And we're going to have a look, first of all, at some vocabulary on the topic of boredom. So let me share, if you will, let me share my little blackboard. So the first question, right? A lot of students get confused. Is it bored or boring, right? The film is boring or bored, and I feel boring or bored. You know, which one is it? What should it be? Maybe you guys down below, leave a message. Tell me what you think it is. This film is blank and I feel blank. Let's get this sorted. Oh, there's quite a few different opinions here. Right. First up then, Ashraf. This film is boring and I feel bored. Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Ashraf. That's great. This film is boring and I feel bored. Right. Thank you, Ashraf. Nice glasses. Very cool. Very lovely. So this film is boring. Boring, right, is kind of an active, it's an active feeling. It describes things or people, right? It describes maybe a book or a film or a person that bores you. So the film is boring. The book is boring. Some classes are boring. Some people are boring, right? People who just have a very monotonous voice. Hello, nice to see you. My name's Jackie. Good morning. And right, maybe it can be boring. However, That's boring. But bored, right? Let me bring that up, is more passive. It shows how you are made to feel. I feel bored. It's how you are made to feel by something. So it's that passive idea, right? I feel bored because of the book, or because of the teacher, or because of waiting in the supermarket. I feel bored, right? So that's the difference between boring and bored, right? But notice boring can be to describe things and people as well. People can be boring if they have that active impact on you. So let's take an example, right? I was bored. I'll put these together so you can see it all together. I was bored by this film, by this book, or by this person, right? So you can see it is literally a passive sentence, right? I say up here it's passive. I was bored by something. So you can remember it by being passive. I feel bored because this film is boring. It's how I'm made to feel. The challenge is, right, if somebody says, John is blank, what's the answer? John is blank. The answer is we don't know, right? Of course we don't know, because we don't know if it's describing his feeling or his impact on someone, right? If we're describing his feeling, then John is bored. Yeah, the feeling, as we said here, bored, how we're made to feel. If we're describing his impact on people, then John is boring, right? If that describes actively his impact, then John is boring. So that's the key thing, right? Now, if I bring them up together, we'll do one more here. Here we give the context, right? Number one, John is blah, 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 blah. He makes me fall asleep. John is blah, blah, blah. He's not interested in this film. What's the answer? What's number one and what's number two? Yeah, very good. We've got it. Yeah. So Premjit says number one is boring. John is boring. Exactly. He makes me fall asleep. Perfect. John is boring. He makes me fall asleep. Excellent. Thanks, Premjit. And we've got Namita says, come on, Namita. Why are you not coming on? Now you're here. Says boring. Number two, bored. John is bored. He's not interested in this film, right? Exactly. John is bored. Perfect. So now we've got that sorted out. Brilliant. Let's move on. Some very quick collocations, right? So collocations, we can say, I'll just put this up, collocations. Collocations are, of course, words that go together, words that commonly go together. We can say to be bored, to get bored, or to grow bored, right? So I was bored yesterday watching the film, and I grew even more bored as the film went on, for example. The noun, boredom, right? Boredom, stress on the first syllable, boredom. There's a lot of boredom during lockdown. And the verb to bore, right? It's pronounced the same as O-R, or. It's that, look at the shape of the mouth. Let me show you here. So it's not it's a round shape, or, and it comes from the throat. Bore. Bore. Great. Lovely, right? So the teacher bores me. Bores. He bores me. She bores me. The comedian's jokes are terrible. He bores me, right? Make the or quite a long sound. It's a diphthong, or no, it's not. It's a long vowel, or, bore. Lovely. Coming back. Great. Great. Good. We're in. I'm just checking in with you. Good. So those are some collocations. Let's move into a question, right? My first question. We're going to look at this question first. Right. What bores you? What bores you? Before you answer, I'm going to share with you this website because I think it's quite interesting, right? Sergey, he bored me? Yes. Sergey, perfect. Exactly. Quick question, just throw it up there. He bored me. Yes, he bored me. Bored. Perfect. I'm going to show you this website because I think it's quite interesting. It's about being bored. What bores you? Let me just show you. It's 11 different things that bore us. Let me see if I can bring this up. The 11 most boring things in life, according to science and according to me. According to me. So the first one, no, actually number 11 is being broke. Now, being broke, you may know this expression, you may not. To be broke is to have no money. When you run out of money, then you are broke. So being broke, yeah, that's boring because you can't do anything. Waiting in line, right? Queuing. Sitting in a waiting room, like at the doctor's or at the dentist, whenever you're waiting, yeah, that's extremely boring. And the routine of everyday life, well, that is a bit macro. That's quite wide, right? But yes, the routine of life can be boring. TV commercials or advertisements in number 7. Listening to politicians, that's boring, right? Most politicians are boring. But, with respect to politicians, they do a great job sometimes. Slow internet connection, amen. Going through junk mail, boring. Being on hold when you're on the telephone and somebody asks you to wait. Standing in lines, isn't that the same as queuing, waiting in line at the post office? Standing in lines generally. Being stuck in traffic is number 1. So lots of interesting ideas about what bores that person. What's interesting, I think, is the language that he's using. And let me just highlight this for you, right? He says, for example, being broke. Now remember, idiomatically, it doesn't mean broke. It means no money, right? Having no money. To be broke equals, to have no money. Being broke bores me. Waiting in line. This also is a noun phrase. So being broke, we use the gerund, the ing, right? This bit, the ing we call the gerund, it's used as a noun or a noun phrase. So being broke is a noun phrase. And then you've got the verb. It bores me. Waiting in line, noun, makes me bored. There's the verb. Politicians, again, it's a noun, this case just a noun, followed by the verb. So noun, verb, or if you like, subject, verb. It's the subject, verb, noun, verb. Politicians are boring. So very often when we say what bores you, we often put a noun or a noun phrase and then the verb. Being broke, waiting in line, listening to politicians, right? Or just politicians are boring. So using a noun or a noun phrase and then the verb is the common way to do it, right? Excellent, good. So my question to you, what bores you? Leave me a comment. Let's see what bores you, right? Nabika, charge up your laptop if the battery's going to die. Emmy, nice to see you again. Oh, people with limited energies bores me, says Artyom. Artyom, you're doing the same pose as me. People with limited energies. Right, good. Brilliant. Emmy says waiting in queue, waiting in queue. Now, we've got the British and the American. Waiting in a queue, or we've got two different ways of saying it. Waiting in a queue, which is more British, and waiting in line, which is more American, right? But nice. Good one, Emmy. Nabina says the lockdown is boring. Great. Because of the restrictions on travel. Yes. Nice. Dorsa says listening to news. Great. Notice the noun phrase. Listening to news. That's the noun. Bores me. Brilliant, Dorsa. Very nice. Subrata says, when my endeavour not worked, when my endeavours don't work or didn't work, yeah, I feel bored. Nice. Good. I'm going to just add a quick correction there. Great. When my endeavour didn't work, I feel bored. Lovely, Subrata. For Harvinder, being on hold bores me, right? Being on hold on the telephone, right? Isn't that annoying when you ring up like any service and they just a moment, sir, and they put this music, daddy doo dee dee daddy doo 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 doo. Oh, so annoying. Right, Kanata says, I usually get bored by book. I think you mean by books, right? By books or by a book. Let's put it in the singular. I don't know if you mean one book or books in general. I usually get bored by a book because I cannot keep concentrating on it. How can I get rid of it? Well, get rid of the book, throw it away. Get rid of the lack of concentration. You have to practice concentration, right? It's a skill you need to practice. So Kanata, start practicing. For Ravi, he's bored waiting in line. Yep, absolutely. Let's see, anyone else? Nee, have no money and nothing to do. Now you're almost there, Nee. What bores you? Remember that this is really nice, right? Because you're showing everybody it's the having, the noun phrase, having no money. That's the noun phrase. And nothing to do, right? Brilliant. Yeah, that really bores lots of people. What else? Raul says, daily exercise bores me. Do you mean like exercise as in walking and fitness exercise, or mental exercise, or English exercises? Maybe all of them. I don't know. Right, Barat says, political conversions makes me bored. Oh, yeah, good. I think what you mean is, and I'm going to correct you, but tell me if it's right. Political conversations, right? Political conversations make me bored, right? Political conversations bore me, or they make me, right? Passive, bored, right? They make me bored. Thanks, Barat, for that. That's great to show everybody we can make it clear. Great. Good. For Joanna, we've got COVID-19 pandemic bores me. Yeah. Good. Alina, first session, welcome. Maftuna, my work bores me. Maftuna, I think you need to change your job. Do a different job. Change around. Do something different. Excellent. Good. Now, that's really nice. Some really nice phrases there. I'm going to share with you because I actually asked everybody in the Facebook group. And if you don't know, by the way, and if you haven't joined, please do come and join. If you like Facebook, come on, Keith, Manchester, Facebook. If you like Facebook, come and join the Facebook group. It's Keith's Mastermind Community for IELTS Speaking. If you're into Facebook, come and join us. And there's a community there. There's quite a lot going on. People sharing experiences, questions, answers, practicing. The other day, we had a gentleman from Madagascar who was doing a video recording, and different students were practicing together on video without me. Brilliant. I mean, great opportunity to go and practice. So come and join us. But yesterday, I asked the group, what bores you? And there were lots of comments and really interesting. So I want to share some of them with you and maybe pull out one or two pieces of language, chunks. Yeah, pull out one or two chunks to show you that. And so I'm going to go through a few of the comments and make a few of my own comments, right? This is a short video. I made this yesterday, so you'll notice my clothes have changed, right? Just a few minutes. Let's have a look at what you all said, right? Let me find it. Okay, it takes a second to load up. And we'll just watch a few minutes and interesting ideas that came out and some beautiful language. Okay, if you're ready, let's do it. Right, hello. Ooh, I look a bit rosy. Maybe because I've just woken up from my siesta, my afternoon nap. Could be. And I just wanted to have a look at this question today. What bores you? Oh, look at that. Holy moly. What? 224 comments? There was only about 80 a few minutes ago. What happened? Oh dear. Anyway, I just want to have a quick look at some of your comments and make a few comments myself about your comments. Let's have a look what bores you guys. For Zaida, when I follow the same kind of hectic routine. Yeah, I know what you mean, right? For Anna, the pandemic bores me. Nice, good English, that's great. For Hang Yuen Taida, jobless. Well, if you haven't got a job yet, or if you've been laid off in the pandemic, it can be a real, hassle and a bore, absolutely. The pandemic restrictions are a bore for Miller. Oh dear. And for Raman, when I'm doing nothing, I feel bored to death. Excellent, lovely idiomatic expression. We're going to look at lots of those as well. Let's see. For Rosanna, it's the corrupt politicians. Without the S, Rosanna. Corrupt politicians. Yes, they're all over the place and they are a bore, absolutely. For Peter, small talk. Small talk is boring. Right, you like to get straight to the point, cut to the chase. Don't beat about the bush, right? Excellent, good. For Camille, I'm really bored not to see any progress in my English writing as well as reading. Oh dear, oh dear. We need to get you some solutions, Camille, so that you can see progress and feel much better about it. But not right now. For Tendai, I get so bored when I'm studying and I don't understand anything. Well, I relate to that. I hope you understand this for today. Let's see, what else have we got? For Rupjit, managing household chores alone when your house help is on leave is quite boring and tiring, I imagine, right? Osman says, I'm fed up with social media. I can't do this anymore. I know what you mean. I am also very fed up with a lot of social media. I'm fed up with the scammers, with the people not scamming me, but scamming and spamming. Yes, especially on my personal feed. Oh dear. Now, Jane, this is interesting. Jane says, I get bored when my seniors don't pull their weight, right? So they don't do enough work and just sit there ordering juniors around instead of showing them the ropes, right? Showing them the ropes, showing them how to do the job. This really gets on my nerves. Seriously, though, I need to speak out. Jane, lovely answer. Beautiful. Like it very, very much. And Tanja says, what bores me the most is gathering with friends and only one seems to be talking. It feels like they love to listen to themselves giving a talk. Yes, I've got, one or two friends who just talk and talk and talk and talk. And it's okay, but when they don't listen, that's what really bores me, right? But yeah, nice point. Anybody else? Anna says many things like waiting in a queue, watching a slow movie, and especially shopping with my sister because she takes ages for that. I love it. She takes ages. Another nice idiomatic expression, right? Takes a long time. Well, watching a slow movie, Anna, simple solution. If you're on Netflix or streaming, is just speed it up. Fast forward to the interesting bits. Let's pick out one more we've got over here. Janice says, fall in line, stuck in the traffic jam, stuck in the lecture room with the lame tutor. Oh, that's right. There's nothing worse than a lame tutor who's boring and not engaging, right? Totally agree. Well, listen, that was a quick visit. Thank you for all your comments. I'm really sorry that I've not had time to answer all of them, but I hope today we've seen a few more. I'll try and go in and answer a few more. In the meantime, let's get back to our live lesson with that teacher. What was his name? Oh, yes, Keith. And I'll go back for my afternoon cup of tea and biscuits. Take care. See you soon. What's his name? Keith. Oh, yeah. Right. I was very rosy, right? Why was my face so red? That was a bit strange, that was. Maybe it was the lighting in a different room. So interesting. Great. Some very nice comments. Thank you very much to all of you who commented. What a lot of comments. As I said, it's impossible for me to answer all of them unless I don't sleep. But I try to answer one or two. But hopefully that gives you all some ideas. I'd just like to share with you some of the language there. I thought there was some great language and really useful for you because it's so natural spoken English, which is what you need for IELTS, right? Let's have a quick look. You talked about being jobless, right? So jobless basically just means, unemployed. So other words, unemployed, not having a job, obviously. Great. If you're laid off, it's a bore. So to be laid off is where the company lets you go. They don't fire you, but they just say, we're sorry, there's no work for you. So like in COVID, right, lockdown, because all of the restaurants had to close, they had to lay off a lot of people. They just let them go, right? So to lay someone off is to let them go. Say there is no work. There is no more work, maybe we could say, right? That's the idea, right? Okay. I feel bored to death was a lovely expression. I use that a lot. It's very, very bored. I feel bored to death, right? Notice how we say it. The to becomes t. I feel bored to death. In fact, the bored to, the bored, the d, and the t connect. So we say bored to, right? Not bored to, bored to, bored to. I feel bored to death. Try that. I feel bored to death. Nice. Stress on the bored and the death. I feel bored to death. Yeah, perfect. Good. Very nice expression, right? I feel bored to death. Small talk is just, talking about the weather, maybe about family, maybe about, I don't know, what you've done, right? It's not the important, it's the social lubrication, if you like. Then we had get to the point, right? That was a really good. We had cut to the chase, don't beat about the bush. So get to the point is to be direct. But we can also say cut to the chase, cut to the chase. Notice again, right? The t, cut t, you just need one t. Cut t, right? Just the cut t. Don't go cut t, no. cut to. Cut to the chase. Cut to the chase, right? It means be direct. Say what you mean. Cut to the chase, right? Don't tell me about the weather and this. No, cut to the chase. Or get to the point, or don't beat about the bush, which I love. Don't run around the bush. The bush is like a plant or a tree. Don't beat about the bush. So those three are all the same, right? Household chores, great. We can also talk about household tasks. You know, things like I don't know, ironing, cleaning, cooking, all of those that some people find very, very boring. Understandably, I'm fed up, right? Means I'm bored. Basically, I'm bored. I talked about don't scam and don't spam. To scam is just don't cheat me, right? I mentioned last week we have a lot of scammers on Facebook trying to cheat you. Don't spam. Don't spam me. Right? Don't send me messages. Right? Don't send messages trying to sell things. Don't spam. And then there was this interesting expression, they don't pull their weight, right? It means that they don't work. They don't do enough work. They don't pull their weight, their body. They don't do enough. They're very lazy. Show them the ropes is to show how something works. So very often, when you're starting a new job, your boss will show you the ropes. Sometimes your colleagues will show you the ropes. It comes from the old sailing metaphor, right? When you're sailing on a boat, you have ropes and you have to learn the knot and how to use the ropes. So when you learn something, we say to show you the ropes. So particularly in a new job, somebody should show you the ropes. Okay. So show how something works. And I love this expression. It gets on my nerves, right? It's annoying. It's annoying. Notice it gets on my nerves. Nothing to do with being nervous. No. It's annoying or irritating. Right? And then we also had she takes ages. It just means she takes a long time. Some people when they... takes a long time. Some people when they are... I don't know. Some people when they're cooking, they take ages. Some people when they're on the phone to their friend, they take ages. Some people on the toilet... they take ages. There's nothing worse. And this expression, right? There's nothing worse. We often say that, right? There's nothing worse than somebody who takes ages on the toilet. There's nothing worse than somebody spamming you all the time. There's nothing worse than the scammers on Facebook. There's nothing worse. It's a lovely, natural expression, right? Okay, good. Yes, good. Think right. Okay, is this live? Jack, this is live. Yes, it is live. Aida says, I take ages to study English. Nice. Liam, it is live. But Liam, we're mixing some recorded with live, right? Aniket says she took ages. She took a ridiculous amount of time. That's very nice. A ridiculous amount of time. Very, very nice. Okay. Marsha says, you show us the ropes. I do. I show you the ropes on how to learn English, how to prepare for IELTS. Thanks a million. Yeah. Some interesting. Roland, where can I rewatch this live stream? On YouTube. So as soon as it's finished, it's recorded and it's kept in my YouTube channel. So just go to English Speaking Success and you can watch it there. Absolutely. Isma, is this an idioms class? I'm sorry, it's not an idioms class. It looks like it, right? There's maybe too many idioms, but no, this class is all about boredom, believe it or not. Great. Okay, let's move on. Oh, Hasnay, my exam on Saturday. Please, Keith, give a constructive piece of advice. Constructive advice. Okay, Hasnay, my advice for you is on Friday, relax, um, immerse yourself in English, but relax. So maybe read a book or watch a film or listen to a podcast in English, but something very relaxing. Go to bed early, get up the next day full of energy, full of beans, and think you're going to enjoy the test, right? That's the only thing in your head, is all the way as you're walking to the test center, you're thinking, I'm going to enjoy the test. I'm going to enjoy the test. I'm going to enjoy the test. It's the only thing that you think about. That's my advice. I hope it's constructive. Good luck to you and everybody who's doing the test. Right, excellent, good. So we've done that. Let's move on, right? Because I've been looking at vocabulary and we've looked at quite a few idioms there. We've talked about what bores you. Now, lockdown boredom. Yeah, lockdown boredom. Here's a question, and I'm going to share with you an idea as well. A lot of people talked about lockdown and how the restrictions are boring or they bore you. So I would like to share with you on this question. Let me share this question. How did you tackle lockdown boredom? Tackle in this context means to solve a problem or to handle a situation, to handle, to cope with. How did you tackle lockdown boredom? I mean, what did you do, right? Maybe you're in lockdown now. I don't know. Some parts of the world are. Where I am at the moment, we don't have lockdown. But so that's why I say in the past, how did you tackle lockdown? Let me share with you this website, right? Which I was just reading the other day. I thought it was quite interesting about ideas for lockdown. It says 6 ways to fight. There you go. Fight or tackle to fight coronavirus lockdown. Oh, those advertisements bore me. It's been nearly a year since the start of COVID-19. That's right. And more hard weeks look to be ahead. So DW has a few ways to fight lockdown boredom. I'm going to share 6 with you here very briefly. First one, you can guess, right? Get out the board games. Play some board games with your family. Second one is computer gaming. Where is it? Playing together without being in the same room. So you can play computer games across the internet, even though you're not in the same room. You can play Go. Here's another board game. You can play that great game. Biking away the blues. So another one is to get on your bicycle, and it's a way of not being bored. If you're allowed out. I mean, in lockdown, you're, at least in England, people are or were allowed out for 1 hour a day, I think, to cycle or run or do some exercise. So important to get your exercise. So cycle, bike the blues away. Dancing on wheels in this case. Gym and fitness studio, so doing some exercise. What about knit your way through the crisis? To knit your way, to knit, I don't know if you know to knit, right? Is to make these kind of clothes, right? Just let me show you to knit. Some of you may not know what knit is. To knit. That's to knit, excuse me, right? You can see from the pictures. So this is knitting or to knit, to make clothes. I wonder, some of you probably do knit, I'm guessing. Right, gyms are closed. Yep, that's true. In a lot of places, gyms are closed. It's not possible. But doing exercise at home could be possible. Putting pencil to paper, so writing stuff. Maybe write a story, write a message, write a letter. Interesting idea, right? Putting pen to paper. The nice expression to put pen to paper means to write. Yeah, I enjoy putting pen to paper and writing down my ideas for classes. Or singing in your own home studio, which means basically singing in the shower. Or singing in your home, making some kind of music, recording it and sharing it with other people. Interesting, right? Very interesting. So those basically are all different ideas. But how do you tackle boredom, right? What do you guys do, especially in lockdown? Let's have a look, right? So Jassy says, in order to relieve my boredom, love that, relieve my boredom, nice. I started learning how to bake cookies, and I can say that I'm slowly improving. Lovely. And then, of course, you can relieve your boredom by eating the cookies. Marika, on a similar note, well, by making myself busy, like baking. Great expression, make myself busy. Making myself busy. What else have we got? Emma says, I bake some cakes and share with some poor families. That's lovely. That's nice. Very nice. Catherine says, doing karaoke, right? Notice again, we can use the noun or the noun phrase to answer this question. Krishna says, I've been swamped with work. Great expression. Swamped with work means you have too much work. I've been swamped with work. So does that mean you're not bored? I guess interesting, right? Because in lockdown, like Krishna and myself, we have been swamped with work. If your work is online, then actually lockdown, there's been no time to be bored because there's been too much work. Great. Ulvier says, sometimes I make interesting jewelry with beads like a necklace. Also, I can knit scarves for myself. Oh, fantastic. Great. Great. I'm just going to change your spelling there, just a small one there. Ulvier on spelling, right? I also knit scarves for myself. Great. Ravi talks about doing something interesting, get rid of boredom, and time could be used as to learn something new. It's kind of like killing two birds with one stone. Yes, killing two birds with one stone. Yeah, learn something new. Very nice, Ravi. Yes. And for Ida, singing is good for me, but it's horrible for my neighbours. Ida, I take it you're not a great singer, but don't worry. Prote says, I hooked on playing computer games. Yes, yes. So hooked there because hooked is a past participle. You need the was, right? I was hooked on playing computer games at the time of lockdown. Prote, nice. Very, very nice. I like it. Good. What else have we got? A lot of people baking cakes, it seems. Shikuza was painting. Nice. Sally, hello from Algeria. Nice to see you here. Leon says, I watch a lot of Connect 4 to exhaust my brain power. What a good show. I don't know that. I know the board game, Connect 4, but I don't know the show. What else have we got? For Lucky Ismin, gardening can help you. Yeah, gardening, absolutely. Great, thank you very much. Lots of great ideas on how to tackle the lockdown. Interesting. Right. Now, I'm going to move on. We've talked a bit about boredom. I've got another question, and this question goes a bit deeper, right? Now, coming back to IELTS and IELTS speaking, often in part 3, right, you get a question like this. Do you agree it is impossible to feel bored in today's society? Yeah. Do you agree it is impossible to feel bored in today's society? This kind of question where the examiner asks you, do you agree or disagree? You don't have to agree. You can disagree and say no, or you can agree, right? Again, it's not formal. It's not like writing. So you don't have to say, yes, I totally agree, or no, I disagree strongly. You don't have to say that. You can just start speaking. It's absolutely fine. If you want, you can use a filler and say a connector and say, yes, I'm totally agree. But it's not essential. So it's impossible to feel bored in today's society. There's a lot of ideas here. Let's look at what the ideas could be. What are we thinking about here? So one of them might be the suggestion that there's so much technology, right? There's a lot of technology, like social media, like streaming videos, so that is impossible to be bored. It could be about online learning, right? There's a lot of opportunity for online learning, so to learn new skills. That's all a bit small, isn't it? And come on, let's make it bigger. Learning new skills, so maybe painting, a language, coding. So there's so many things to learn with online learning. Could be that. It could be the growth of the fitness. Let's say this: the growth of the health and fitness centers sector. So now the opportunity for people to people are cooking more, exercising. There are more gyms. There's so many opportunities now for healthy eating, doing exercise, bicycles. There's a lot more than before. That means it's difficult to be bored. So these are just a few ideas, right, that you may want to talk about. Maybe the idea of technology, the growth, online learning, or the growth of health and fitness. There are many more that you could refer to. So let me ask you guys, what? No, not what. Do you agree it's impossible to feel bored in today's society? Let's have a look. And as you're doing that, I'm going to play my jingle. I've not played my jingle yet today. I love that jingle. Good morning from Brazil. Hello. Shakun, you love that jingle, don't you? Okay. Do you agree it's impossible? Let's bring up some ideas. There's quite a lot here. Do you agree it's impossible to feel bored? Catherine says, not really, because too much connectivity also can drain you a lot and thus makes you feel bored after some times. Right, very good point. Too much connectivity with screens and social media, right? It can drain you, can make you tired. Yeah. I'm going to just copy a few of your things here. Great, thank you. Ezgi says, neither agree nor disagree. Actually, it depends on the personality. For example, brilliant. That's a nice part 3 answer. For example, I am very talented on getting bored in. I'm very talented on getting bored in any situation after 30 minutes. Love it. Nice. Good bit of humour. I like that. Just notice, Ezgi, it's get talented at. Yeah, I'm very talented at getting bored in any situation. Lovely, nice. Thank you very much. Let's have a look. Adrian. I'll try and pronounce your name. Andrian Narison. Andrian Narison? I absolutely disagree for the reason that, as far as I remember, as far as I remember, my parents, when they were my age now, had more fun and were better entertained than in this era with all these cutting edge technologies. Yeah, great. I'm going to put technologies in the plural just because you said these cutting edge technologies. That's great and a really good point, right? I absolutely disagree for the reason that, as far as I remember, lovely. And referring back to your parents' time, very nice answer. Good. Mirabelle says, I enrolled on an online course which not only played down the boredom. Oh, I love that. Played down the boredom. Brilliant, Mirabelle. Nice. But set the tone for a new career pursuit for me. Yeah, great. Let me just borrow your language. Brilliant. Played down the boredom. So to make it less important or to reduce it. Nice. Great. Maruf says, yes, I agree strongly because our society depend on the network and don't try to attention each other's. It is my opinion. That's nice, Maruf. That's nice. Our society depends on the network, and I would say here, I'm going to change it a bit, doesn't try to pay attention to each other. Yeah, great. Brilliant. So I'm just going to tidy up a little bit. I agree strongly because our society depends on the network and doesn't try to pay attention to each other. So I think that's what you mean, where people are not paying attention to each other. I hope I've understood correctly. Yeah, lovely. Very, very nice. I'm going to do one more from Pratipa. I partly agree with this because of a lot of study stuffs from online. Plantation, indoor games, doing yoga, and learn holistic life from internet video doesn't bore you. Yeah, good. Now, remember, agree is a verb. I agree. So not I am, Pratipa, but I agree. I partly agree with this. Great. I partly agree with this because of a lot of study stuff. Stuff is always in the singular, not in the plural. It's an uncountable noun, right? Study stuff online, indoor games, learning holistic life. Great. From internet video. Doesn't bore you. That's lovely. Doesn't bore you. Brilliant. Good. Very, very nice. Lovely answers. There's a lot more there, but I'm going to move on. I'm just going to share some of those things that you said. Too much connectivity can drain you. So when you say something drains you, right, it makes you tired. That's really nice, right? So for me, I don't know, dancing drains me. Speaking on the phone to some friends for like 2 hours can drain me. I'm not a very talkative person. So, going to a lecture sometimes can drain people, right? And then learning something new played down the boredom. So basically here, in this context, it means to reduce in this context. Or it really means to make less important. To play something down just means to make it less important. But here, it's really about reducing, right? Learning something can play down the boredom or reduce the boredom. Okay. Nice. Good. Good. What's next? What's next? It's always time. If I don't know, it's time for a jingle if I don't know. Now then, in a moment, I'm going to move on and share some more idioms on this topic with you, right? But before I do that, I wanted to let you know on Saturday, as every Saturday, I have a new video. And this, it's a recorded video coming out on Saturday, is an interesting one. And I think you might like it. I hope so. I sit down with another teacher, another IELTS teacher, and we have a conversation, and I call it a Band 9 conversation. And what we do is we talk about different IELTS questions. And so it's kind of an IELTS test because all of the questions are IELTS questions, but it's a conversation. It's just a relaxed conversation. So when you listen, you think it's a conversation. But when you listen carefully, you think it's an IELTS speaking test. And there's lots of really nice language and some great tips we're going to talk about. I'm going to share with you now just a snippet, right? A sneak preview, a couple of minutes of the conversation that we had together. Now, I did this with a teacher from Vietnam who I met maybe a year ago through the internet, and we've been in touch. His name is Dat, or Datio. He has a site called IELTS with Datio, and we got together and we made this video, which we will show. What I will show on Saturday, he will show on his channels. I'm not sure when, probably Saturday. But I want to show you a sneak preview, just a couple of minutes, and see what you think. Let me show the bit of the conversation to give you an idea. Here we go. It'll take a minute to work out, as always. But I think it's interesting. You can let me know what you think. Is it a conversation or is it an IELTS speaking test? Or in reality, should your IELTS speaking test be a conversation? Aha. And that, in a way, is the whole point, is that the more you make your test like a conversation, the more successful you're going to be, right? And that's what we try to show. So, as always, my computer has hidden the file. Give me a moment. Okay, I think we're there. Great. So, the first question I need to ask is, how do I pronounce your name?
Oh, you can call me Dad or Daddy-o. It sounds kind of funny.
Dat or Datio?
No, but yeah, but just call me Dad. I think that's my real name. Daddy-o is more like a nickname that my friend gave me, but I think it's cute. That's why I chose that for my channel.
Right, fantastic. It's a great name. I like it, Datio. But I'll call you
Yeah.
Dat. That's fine.
Mm.
Um,
Keith. Keith,
yeah,
right?
Keith, that's right, exactly, with that strange th sound
Uh,
so many people struggle with.
yeah.
Keith, so I'm based here in Spain. Where do you live, Dat?
I'm currently living in Saigon, or people would call it Ho Chi Minh City, but I prefer Saigon because it's kind of reminiscent of the past, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So is that your hometown, or is your hometown a different place?
Um, it's my hometown actually. I was born and raised here, and I actually have been living here, my whole life. I think I know that I did move to Singapore to study for a few years, and then I came back here. But my life, it doesn't feel very different from before. So yeah, I'm living here currently.
Right. And what do you like about Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City?
Oh, I feel pretty fortunate to be living here because I got, I got access to pretty much any amenity that you can possibly think of, right? And it's very modern. It's very convenient to live here, and um, I'm a foodie as well. So,
Mm.
like I love eating. So I have a passion for eating, trying different cuisines. And Saigon, particularly Saigon, has a variety of cuisines, and I can try as many kinds of food that I can think of.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been in that city since you were born. Has that city changed over the years?
Um, over the years, you mean over the last 10 years
Over the
or
last 10
something?
years, 15 years? Yeah.
I didn't really, pay attention, but the most striking change is probably the fact that it has gotten more polluted and hotter, so much hotter than before. I think it's the same situation for a lot of mega cities that are growing. But Saigon definitely has a lot more residential, areas, apartment complexes and skyscrapers. So I think that's it's kind of a nice thing to have, but at the same time, the infrastructure cannot really accommodate that many people, and
Right. Right, very interesting. It's a fascinating conversation, and I love the way I think that it's hard to know. Is it a conversation or is it an IELTS speaking test? It's probably both. And as a few people have commented, right, yeah, that the more it's like a test, the more it's like a conversation, the better it is. Yeah. Um, I'll just share a few comments. Christina says, "Yes, I'd like to think about the IELTS speaking test as a conversation because it makes me more comfortable, relaxed, and confident." Yeah, absolutely. Um, Also, Gavar, I think, said a similar thing. Gavar says, "Wow, he doesn't have the local accent. He must be a really good teacher." Well, I'm sure Datio is. I mean, his English is fantastic. I mean, it was band nine English, and I'm sure he's a great teacher as well. But very, very interesting conversation. Great. Hit the like button. Thank you, guys. Thank you for hitting the like button. Brilliant. Good. This is it. Cancer Rianne, you've hit the nail on the head. It sounds like a very comfortable conversation, but it's in the IELTS format, very smooth and involved both ways. It actually calms your nerve if the speaking test is good. Yeah, it does calm you. Yeah. And I think what's important is that it's in the hands or the responsibility of both the examiner and you, right? So the examiner, sometimes they're relaxed, sometimes they're not. But you also have responsibility to be relaxed. Because if you're stiff and formal and hello, my name is Keith, I come from Manchester, it's a beautiful city in the north of England, right? Then the examiner will also be, oh, and what do you think of it? It will become more like that. So you also have a responsibility to be relaxed and to smile. Like if you watch the whole conversation, you'll see it's just like chatting maybe to a colleague at work over coffee and where do you live, how long have you lived here, and it's so important because that relaxing helps you express better English. Anyway, enough said. Saturday, um, around midday Spain time, I will publish the video. Go and watch it. You'll be able to see the whole conversation. We also do analysis of the language, so you can learn lots of Band 9 language and some really interesting tips about the test. So look out for that on Saturday. Good. Moving on, right? Moving on. We've talked about lockdown boredom. I'm going to move on next to idioms about being bored, right? So let's have a look at some idioms on this particular topic. And please feel free to share as well in the chat. So the following expressions, right, these are used to talk about being very bored, right? As we mentioned earlier, I think we saw the first one. I'm bored to death, right? I'm bored to death. Notice how that the D and the T is the same sound. I'm bored to death. And you stress the noun, the nouns. Whoops. I'm bored to death. Say that. I'm bored to death. I'm bored to tears. I'm bored to tears. Similarly, I'm bored stiff. I'm bored stiff. Stiff is straight, like Oh, okay. This is stiff. It's hard, right? It's whoops. It's stiff. This is flexible. It's not stiff. Jose Ramon. I'm bored, stiff. So you're so bored, and the idea, I guess, is that when you're bored, you don't move. That's why you're bored to death. It's like you're dead. You're bored stiff. I'm bored stiff. Bored to tears. Like you're crying. It's so boring I cried. I'm bored to tears. I'm bored silly. It's you're so bored that you go a little bit crazy. I'm bored silly. I'm bored out of my mind. Out of. I'm bored out of my mind. So again, you're going crazy. You're so bored. I'm bored out of my mind. It's good if you can to get this connective speech, right? Try and get that bored out of. Oh, there's two connections. Here we go. Oh, come on. So say this with me. My mind. Again, my mind. Out of my mind. Bored out of my mind. I'm 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 not. I'm really happy. I'm having a whale of a time. Great. I'm bored out of my mind. I'm fed up. Again, we looked at this earlier. As with most phrasal verbs, we do connect. Fed up, dup, dup, dup. ASMR. Dup. Fed up. Fed up. I'm fed up. Fed up and teeth. Teeth at the very back. Why? I don't know. But if you're very, very, very fed up, we say, I'm fed up to the back teeth. I'm fed up to the back teeth, right to the back teeth. I don't know why, but it means you're really fed up, right? Great. Do I have any more? Yes, I do. If something is boring, we can say, it leaves me cold. Right? So there's no emotion, there's no feeling. It leaves me cold. It's dull. So something is dull, is boring. And this is interesting. It's about as exciting as watching paint dry. So you can chunk this. You can chunk it with it's about as exciting as watching paint dry. Now, as you can probably imagine, watching paint dry on the wall, not very interesting, right? Very slow, very boring. It's about, so we make the comparison, it's about as exciting as watching paint dry. Great expression. Great. Let me see, I'm sure you guys have got others as well. Yeah, there are a few more. Yes, there are some expressions, as Joanna says, that use the F word, and there are quite a few, but I'm not going to cover them because it's very, very strong slang. And this is a family show. It's true. I've got some. There are some. I think it's a family show. Some people tell me their husbands and family watch as well. Yes, we've got also. You could say, yeah, the most mundane moment I've ever visited. So mundane is a nice word. Just means boring. Nice. The most mundane moment. That's a nice alliteration. Most mundane moment. It's the most mundane moment I've ever experienced. So nice words for boring are mundane, monotonous, tedious. Somebody also mentioned tedious. These are all good adjectives that mean boring. Boring, right? So the film is mundane. The film is monotonous. The film is tedious. I don't know why I've got capitals. Don't need capitals. Great. What else have we got? Love from Mongolia. Ainur, thank you very much. I like Mongolia. I was in Ulaanbaatar quite a few times, but many years ago. Even had a chance to ride on the horses. It was fantastic. Thank you. Aida says, I do not know why today I am bored. Ah, right, you're almost there. I am bored. So stiff, notice, stiff is not to, but stiff is just bored. Bored, stiff. Just go back, notice that one. So to tears, to death, but bored, stiff. I'm bored, stiff. I'm bored, silly. So the S doesn't have the to, right? The S, stiff, S, silly. There's no to. Aida, I totally understand. There are some days, right, that I'm just really bored and I don't know why. And I just can't get any energy or any enthusiasm. And I just want to sleep. And I don't know why it happens. Yeah, I get you. Shakun has mind-numbingly boring. Which is nice, yes, mind-numbingly. So to make your brain numb is just really, really boring. Mind-numbingly boring. Let's add that one up there as well. Thank you very much, Shakun. Mind-numbingly boring. Nice. Papuna has also got that one. Thank you. It was bored like hell. Yes, yes, possibly, yes. It does nothing for me. That's nice. Yeah, it does nothing for me. It leaves me cold. Let me add that one because that's quite common as well. It does nothing for me. Especially when we're talking about books and films and art, right? That picture, it does nothing for me. There's no feeling, no emotion. It's just boring. Lovely. Very nice. Banal, thank you. That's another one. Yes, you're right. Thanks, Shakan. Banal, we can add as well. Okay, great. Quite a lot here, quite a lot of them. I'm going to stop there, right? So we've looked at lots of different idioms. Gosh, we've done a lot. We're going to move on next, and we're going to have a different activity. And what we're going to do next is find the video. I love Apple. Yeah, it's that time of day, sample answers or model answers where you ask me a question about boredom and I will try and give you a model answer. I say model answer, so I'm going to answer like an IELTS question. It can be a part one, part two, or part three. Boredom has been all of them. It has been a part one question. It's also been a part two question, right? Describe a time when you were bored, or I think a conversation that was boring, and then of course part three. So it could be any of those. So write down a question below in the comments, and I will choose one or two, and we'll do some sample answers. Great, thank you. Some of you are still coming with your idioms. I'll try and pick out a few more and add them to the notes that you can download on the website later on. Do remember that you can always get lots of resources on keithspeakingacademy.com. That's my website. You can get the notes from today's lesson and all of the live lessons. You can just download them for free, and that should help you study and practice and become better and better day after day. keithspeakingacademy.com. Somebody asked, what happened to my jar? Yeah. Well, I've changed. This is also quite Instagrammable, right? Am I allowed to do that? Font Vella. You never know these days. There's days of PC, what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do. Subtle advertising. Not at all. Okay, good. So let's take that off. Let's have a look at some questions. Right. Oh, there's a lot of similar questions about what do you do when you're bored? How do you overcome boredom? Um, what made you bored as a child? Oh, that's nice, interesting. I'll do this one because this is actually in part one. What you do when you're bored, or what made you bored as a child? Maybe both of those. Let's do. Okay, I'm going to do both of those because a lot of them are coming up very similar. I'm going to take Emmy's version, which is this one. What do you do when you're bored? And Emmy's got three question marks. I only need one. Thank you. Right. Emmy, thank you very much for that question. Let me just change the screen a bit. Okay. What do you do when you're bored? Can I bring this down? Well, it's an interesting question. Sometimes I might get bored with a book that's a bit monotonous and mundane. And in that case, to be honest, what I do is I normally stop the activity, I'll stop reading, and I'll just go and do some exercise. I like to go out for a little stroll, get some fresh air, and just change the environment or the atmosphere to try and change my mindset and get focused on something different. Something different. So that's basically what I do when I'm bored. Right, short answer, but part one, right? Stop the activity, do something different, change my mindset. Yeah, good, great, nice question. And then let me add also the one about. I won't be able to find it now. This one, salmon. What did make you bored as a child? Okay, I'm going to just look at your grammar a little bit, but the questions there is great. So it would be what made you bored as a child, right? What made you bored as a child? Whoops. Great, which is switching into the past tense, right? Okay. As a child, I typically got bored at school, right? Unfortunately, there were one or two teachers who bored me to death because they just were so monotonous and their voice was really monotonous and unchanging, and they just were not very energetic or exciting. And so, as a kid, I had a very low threshold of boredom, and I would easily get kind of irritated and bored by monotonous teachers. Right. Again, another short and easy answer. A low threshold of boredom is a nice expression. The threshold is the barrier, right? So if you have a high threshold of boredom, then you can tolerate a lot. If you have a low threshold for boredom, you don't tolerate very much. I'll put this in the notes. You can go and find out later. Good. I'm going to take one more. What do you like to do? Overcoming boredom. Okay. Oh, it's interesting. About old and young people, another common question, right? Let's try this one. This one is a clearly a part two situation. Excuse me, part two question. Describe a situation where you felt bored, when and why. Okay, let's do this. Right. Okay, nice. Thank you, Huda. Lovely question. I'll just put it up here. Okay. Oh, gosh. So I would normally need a minute, right? I normally have a minute. Just give me a few seconds to get the idea. Okay. So I remember once I was invited to a party, and to be honest, I didn't have a very good time and I got really bored. I was bored to tears at the party. And I'll explain why. So this must have been about 3 years ago. Um, I I had just moved to Santander, and had lived here for maybe a few weeks, and so some neighbours invited us to a party, not to their house, but to a party, and it was quite challenging because I didn't know anybody at all there at the party. Um, and I certainly sensed there were a lot of cliques. So there were lots of groups of people kind of in their tightly knit groups speaking together. And they weren't very open. And I found it very hard to break in and to connect with the people in those groups. Um, so I spoke to one or two people, but after an hour or so, um, I was probably a little bit bored out of my mind. And so I kind of decided to leave early because it was just a bit frustrating. And that was a time, yes, when I got very, very bored. I suspect that was less than 2 minutes. It didn't feel like 2 minutes. It was a bit shorter. Maybe I could elaborate more. But some interesting ideas. The party when you're bored is a typical one, right? Classroom lectures is another one that you can talk about. Um, yeah. Other situations where you're bored. Maybe at meetings at work is another classic one. Um, where you don't know people is another one. Yeah, different ideas. Good. Okie dokie. Let's move on from that. What's coming up next? Well, we're coming towards the end. We're going to finish up with a bit of a review, right? Because let me just switch. We have looked at idioms. We've looked at sample answers, and we're going to finish up with a review. And the review is on Kahoot. Now, some of you know Kahoot, some of you may not know Kahoot. So I'm going to bring it up. It's just a very simple way for us to wrap up and to review the language we've looked at. There are 4 questions, and the multiple choice, you choose A, B, C, and D, or D. You have to choose one. You have to go into kahoot.it. So this is the website. So you need 2 browsers open. You need to look at me and also Kahoot. Go to kahoot.it, right? Or you can download the app as well. And when you're there, you need to log in, choose a name, choose a nickname, but also you then need to put in the key, which I'm going to give you. So let's go onto the website. You can see how this works, right? So it's kahoot.it. We're going to go on here, personalized learning. We'll do the classic. Get ready to join. So if you go to kahoot.it, choose a name. The game pin, as you can see up here, is 2496483. 2496483. You can go in, choose a nickname, and we will start the game in a few moments. If you can't get in, don't worry. You can always give your answer in the comments in the video at the same time. Okay, people are getting in. Great. So it's kahoot.it, and the game pin is 2496483. Great. Got a lot of people in there. And cool music going on. I like this music too, Emmy. Yeah. Right. Okay, we've got lots of people in. Let me just take this off. I love the nicknames. Let's start. Let's get going. First question then. On boredom. I don't like this book. It is really blank. I don't like this book. It is really blank. Bored, bores, boring, boredom. You've got 15 seconds left. This is a nice, easy question to begin, right? Well done, Ada, Christina. Nice. Nargis, Satyam. Oh, Satyam, be careful. The answer is boring. Oh dear, 33 of you got bored. No. The book is really boring, right? The book is really boring. Okay, the book is really boring. Remember, bored is how you feel because of that book. So the book is really boring. 113 got it right. Well done. Let's move on. Rapid Bunny was aptly named because you have to be quick to get up here on the leaderboard. Not only correct, but quick. So well done, Rapid Bunny. Question number 2. I'm bored, blank tears. Come on, this is a piece of cake. I'm bored, blank tears. Well done, Fatima and Love Magic. Well done, Manveen. Well done. Black Gold Flex. Nice. Whoa, excellent. Vast majority got it excellently right. 2. I'm bored to tears. 2 or t, as I say. Great. Well done. Let's look. Oh, the Rapid Bunnies disappeared. There's a Clever Gator who's taken the place at number 1, and Rapid Panther is coming up in 2nd place. Lovely. Question number 3. She was blank up to her back teeth. She was blank up to her back teeth. Great music. I think you'll all get this. Whoa, fantastic. Yes, she was fed up to her back teeth, right? She was fed up, to be fed up. To be fed up to your back teeth. 130 correct. Well done, guys. Let's see if the Clever Gator... Oh, the Clever Gator's still up there at the top. Rapid Panther's 2nd. It's all up for grabs as we look at the last question. His monotonous voice really blank me. His monotonous voice really blank me. Well done, Dorsa, Janvi, Maria, well done. Alex, good. Excellent. Vast majority of you got it right, right? Bores. His monotonous voice really bores me. It's the 3rd person, so it has to be with the S. Bores me. Nice. Let's move on. Let's see the leaderboard. Here's the podium. Joyful Gazelle in 3rd. Clever Gator managed to get into 2nd. Whoa, it's the Rapid Panther, was really rapid. I managed to shoot up into first place. Well done, Rapid Panther. Love it. Great. Where are we? I'm in the wrong place. Here I am. Brilliant. Well done. So that's it. We have seen a lot today. We've had a good review there. Just to recap, we've seen the topic of boredom, right? We've looked at the basic vocabulary about bored, boring, boredom, to bore, right? We talked about what bores you, whether it's waiting in line with a noun phrase or corrupt politicians with a noun. We've talked about lockdown boredom and how you tackle that kind of boredom. We looked at idioms around, fed up to your back teeth, bored out of your mind, all of those. We did three today, three sample answers. Brilliant. And the review on Kahoot. So that's it. We've come to the end of the day. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been a real pleasure. I hope it hasn't bored you too much to death. Remember, if you want to go to the website, either later today, possibly tomorrow. It takes me some time to get all the notes ready and to put onto the website. If not tonight, then at the latest tomorrow, go to the Keith Speaking Academy and you can download all of the notes, right? I'll show you just to make sure you know where to go. Website. Ooh, where have I gone? Come over here. Here we are. If you go to the Keith Speaking Academy and just click on the free live lessons at the top here. Yeah. And that's where you can get the latest downloads. You can get IELTS common speaking topics. Download the lessons below. So you can either just download them directly, right, onto your best on a computer or a laptop. And then you can just get them from your computer. Look, last time we had these. This was all about medicine. So you can get the notes, the links, the vocabulary, or everything that we've done in the class you can get here. And there's the whole list. If you want to download others from other past classes, you can. And if you prefer just to read the lesson, you can just get it on the website as well. And you can watch or read and learn straight on the website. We had one about books, right? Talk fluently about books. In fact, we've done every topic under the sun, I think. There's lots of stuff here. So again, you can go on the website. It's all there, probably tonight or at the latest tomorrow. And do remember, if you want to join the Facebook group, Keith's Mastermind community is there to keep you motivated, to make sure you're not bored, keep you going, keep you motivated, right? Fantastic. Great. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending today. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Look out on Saturday for that video with Dat or Datio. It'll be recorded and released around midday on Saturday. Just look out for the latest video, Band 9 Conversation. I think you'll like it. In the meantime, take care, all the best, and good luck if you're doing the test soon. Cheerio now. Bye-bye.